Alright, well, today's Mick of the Day, or episode, is a dear one. And we know Mick stands for mentally ill uh, celebrity. So, the Mick of the episode is Brandon Fraser. Now, Brandon Fraser not only suffered quite a bit when he was sexually assaulted, but also through the injuries that he had suffered and the pain he was dealing with. And there was some opioids involved somewhere in there because of the things that he suffered from. So, quite a bit of that, made Brandon Fraser an emotional wreck, and he had to deal with a lot of that most of his life. And the way he presents himself is just beautiful to me. Very emotions on his sleeves. You can feel from him, you know. So he is my Mick of the episode. I love what he does. His work is outstanding. But tonight's episode is about basically getting motivated into an adventure or something new in this world, in your world. Now, as some of you might know, I have started college courses to be a counselor or a therapist, however direction I want to take it. But getting motivated into something that is outside of my box, that I'm, not accustomed to interfering into my world, my safety zone. So now every day I wake up and think of a reason to start motivating myself to do the work. But that is taking me outside of my norm, which is to wake up, drink coffee, watch my programs, and try to motivate myself that way. It's not working. I'm losing my motivation during the day, the best times. So I tried different ways of doing it, and it's getting more difficult to deal with the anxiety of starting, even trying to start the motivation. So it takes me a half a day just to get ready to do the work I need to do. And I'm trying to analyze my own triggers and trying to figure things and what directions to take. And it's my mind. And I know there are a lot of people out there that cannot figure out ways to motivate themselves. And 10 minutes turns into an hour, turns into an hour and a half, where you finally realize that you're wasting your day away again the same way you keep doing. You got to figure out a way to get out of that rotation, that engine that keeps you going in the same direction over and over again. And it's hard, very hard, because you get that comfort zone, and that comfort is what you're used to waking up to. So I'm doing it in different time intervals. For instance, I'll end up falling asleep at 7 o'clock at night, waking up at 1 or 2 o'clock, and I won't be motivated or able to do any kind of schoolwork until about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And that's when the rest of the world is starting to wake up. So it's a repetitive pattern that my mind keeps going on because it's comfortable that way. The downfall is taking me too much time in the day to motivate myself. So now I'm trying different sleep cycles. Maybe less aggravation towards, other things in my life that are compounded. I mean, I've just added college to an already, pretty hefty pyramid, as you would say, or tree. Either direction, it's adding more anxiety and more pressure into the world I need for my head. But I also need the knowledge in the little piece of paper to help people. And I understand the knowledge. I do. Okay. So having that little piece of paper, on the other hand, really doesn't matter much if you're just going to use it to get rich instead of helping. So, anywho, motivating myself is becoming harder and harder, and I don't know what direction it's actually going to take me. There's so many different theories out there that can be used towards something like this. So, one is like the sleeping theory. They say your brain needs at least 2 to 3 hours of restful sleep. Now, you can look up different special quote unquote investigations on this. Everybody has their own thoughts. To me, my mind works when I get at least 2 to 4 good restful sleeps. Now, other people, they can't function without 8 hours. Others are naps, like 45 minutes up for 10 hours. Then you got your drug inducements. You've got your sleeping agents. You've got your meth. All kinds of chemicals can alter in any form or any direction of your sleep cycle. So, I partake in weed. I'm not going to lie about it. That helps me get my restful sleep. It slows my mind down. Not only that, but it also keeps me focused in the direction I need to go to. I have the tendency to have scatterbrain, squirrel effect. Everybody knows this. Well, the weed helps me focus, and it has done wonders for my school, because once I get over the anxiety of starting, I focus in one direction towards what I'm learning. My world civilization class, I get actually amped up for it because I love history. Everybody knows that. So I have a different process. I pick a day. That's the day I want to do it. I'll read the chapter. I'll do the lecture series. And then I'll take the quiz. And I'm acing it, Then there's the music theory. I spend a whole lot of time on that one, but not pick a certain day. I just feel like doing music. I'll amp myself up to it and work on it. Not on a particular day, but the amping up time is what's killing me, because it's taking me 2 or 3 hours just to get my mind set to do it. So the motivation, I've got to figure out. I've got to key in on that. Now, if you have the anxiety with schooling, whether it's high school, college, whatever, there are a lot of outlets, tools that they give you. And there are a lot of people that you can communicate with about these things. And I'm not going to lie, the first week, the lecture series on how to be a college student, I watched it a couple of times trying, get my head into the game. And to me, it did a pretty good job. It helped me change my thinking process during the learning with the college, because high school and college are two different worlds of learning, and I'm learning that. And I'm also learning in a couple of these classes that I have to dumb it down, because some of these papers that I am writing are a little bit amped up in detail because they're subject matters that I enjoy. And that's the head frame, my mindset. That's what I want to stay in, instead of stopping between courses. In other words, I'll get done with a quiz in one of the classes, and I'm like, all right, I need to celebrate. Well, what I do to celebrate is I'll put on an episode of a program I'm watching, and I'll sit and relax and, relax and have my mind die down. The downfall to me doing that is that one episode turns to 3 episodes. I lose track or motivation, and I'm trying to figure out better ways for me to relax, so that I can try and get out of that sort of motivational stall, you could say. Is I don't have a muse to keep me going, since I am doing Greek. Muse, get it? Come on, people, get with the program. Anyway, back at the ranch, I am dealing with the anxieties of not feeling that I'm worth going to school. In other words, I'm trying my best to not be an imposter student, is what they call it. And by definition, it's basically somebody that believes they are not worthy of the education or feel they don't deserve it. And I'm 50 years old. I've had my chances in life, and I failed them. And I'm basically down to what I have learned and experienced in my life. All that knowledge I don't want to waste. And the only way that I'm able to help or project it out there to help someone, anyone, is either through this podcasting or having a degree with the knowledge, background, and such to go into what I really want to do, is counsel the prison system, where I learned how to develop and to be a better person with my disability. There are others out there that could benefit from this. And paying it forward, the college is a great idea, period. Especially these days, any kind of job that you can get your foot into the system, you need that piece of paper. So, I know this, and it is deep-seated in the back of my mind. And I'm hoping that it will come out as a driving force to help me motivate past those small anxieties that build up, the little things that the patterns that you need to go through in order to start motivating yourself. I mean, I have gone through every stage and analyzed my best, and I'm still not able to to implement the changes that I need to make. Okay? I can't even figure out a way to start them yet. And they're little things. Okay? And it's like I can't get rid of my coffee in the morning. I can't get rid of my cigarette in the morning. I can't get rid of my well, yeah, I could get rid of my programs, but do I replace them, or do I sit here in silence to where my mind can't focus straight? How do I work that? See, these are all little things that my mind is dealing with, and I've got to figure out how to get past them. So, if you're out there and you're feeling the same way, or anything of that, anything around that subject, the motivation is to each and every one of us different. I look at so many different ways so I can figure out what's best for me. You know, sometimes it's a religious focus to where I would use religion or philosophy to focus into getting past anxieties and getting motivated. There are others like characters in fictional or non-fictional, using people to help you boost past. There's a lot of people who respect individuals that they're dealing with the same things. You'll find that in music. You know, music can motivate you past anxieties. And to each of us, it's all on us to find out what those anxieties are. We need to figure out what stops them and what gets you past them. And for me, it's trial and error. I'm not going to lie. I am still working on it. I've got help I can reach out to, not only through the Schoolll, but through the fans here. And I've got one of the greatest, fan support system. My teacher, she's helping me get past a lot. I mean, we keep in touch, and she keeps me motivated. She keeps me going. And I need that. Just like everybody else out there needs that. We all do. So, it's just, you're not alone out there in this. And if you are, stop. You need to stop and find somebody, talk to them. You'd be amazed what can happen in your life if you're unloading on somebody who actually cares for you. So, but all in all, my figuring is motivation in figuring on how to get past the anxieties and the walls that my mind develops. And last thought, I want to thank everybody, because a lot of you who listen to these podcasts reach out, and I appreciate it. And this one, I could definitely use some advice. If you got something out there that helps you get past, get you motivated in the morning, that you think might help, please reach out. Alright, peeps, now comes the Critics Corner on the movies and the music. So tonight's Mick was Brandon Fraser. Tonight's movie, my introduction to Brandon Fraser, Encino Man. Now, I have a deep love for the movie Encino Man for a lot of different reasons. One of them is that since I watched that movie, my main saying for so many years was, "You hurt my pancreas." Every time I'd wrestle or mess around with anybody, it was always, "You hurt my pancreas." Well, that was one of many Pauly Shore's great lines in this movie. Then you had Brandon Fraser come in, and man, awesome job acting. Then you've got, Samwise, he's in there. Sean's cool. He's in a lot of great stuff. And then you got these little cameos from actors that yet, like, for instance, Encino Man is where Brandon Fraser met Rowan McGowan. Yeah, I think that's her name. Well, she was having the issues with the sexual harassment. About the same time, Brandon Fraser was dealing with his sexual assault. So, that was a good support system for him at the time. And they've already talked about that and everything. But, there's a lot of actors in this movie that you never even thought would be there. But, all in all, great movie. Encino Man's basically Samwise is digging a pool. He uncovers a big old ice cube, which is in the Encino Man. Brandon Fraser character comes out, unthaws, raises havoc, goes to high school, causes mayhem, dances his night away. All in all, has a great party. Voila. Basic 90s movie, right? For high schoolers. But there's a lot of great stuff that came out of it. The soundtrack was awesome. The sayings from Pauly Shore, great. And the launching of Brandon Fraser. What else could go wrong? I mean, it's a great movie. So, Critics Corner, Encino Man. Now, I would like to say good night, God bless, peace out, love you, and sponsor me if you'd like. That would be really cool. Yeah, you can sponsor me. Subscribe. All you got to do is look up on the website and subscribe to me. That would be really cool. Love you guys.